Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. Happy Freaky Friday to all you freaks out there. I hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. Today is Freaky Friday, which of course means we have our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay. And as always, guys, every single Friday we will be doing this Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay challenge. It's very simple. All you have to do is comment Freaky down below. And if today's parlay hits, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. That's right. It's easy. It's simple. You can win money from the parlay and potentially win more money through the giveaway. So comment Freaky down below if you are watching today's video. Got a real juicy 5-leg parlay coming your way today. But first, before we dive into today's picks, a quick little recap of how we did last night. And let's just say the haters and the doubters, they're not doing too good right now. Another 4-0 performance last night. We are now on an 8-0 run over the last two videos. 4-0 on Wednesday, 4-0 on Thursday. We are making our way back. After a horrific start to the year, we have gone really well the last couple of days. We're still 22-25. The record's getting better. We are still down quite a bit in units, mainly because we're still playing half a unit plays. We still got a ways to go to break even and start making profit here, but we are making progress. We're trending in the right direction. Again, 8-0 run here. Really positive momentum coming into today's video. Listen, we've gone 8-0. Why can't we go 5-0? And we're using alternate lines here. So hoping to carry this little hot run we're on right now, the positive momentum into today's 5-leg parlay. It feels good to be back on the winning side of things, guys. 5-leg parlay coming your way right now. And no, we're not breaking out the money gun just yet. I know we were on an 8-0 run here, but we were so bad to start the year, I feel like we don't deserve to bring it out just yet. We cashed today. I promise you that money gun will be locked and loaded tomorrow. All right, guys, jumping right into the outlier screen. By the way, guys, shout out to today's sponsor and the sponsor of every player prop video here on the channel, Outlier. It is truly the best sports betting tool on the market. We do offer you guys a special link down below in the description that gives you guys a 7-day free trial to go ahead and check it out for yourself. We've gotten 8-0 the last 2 days. I couldn't have done that without Outlier's help. All the information you're going to see in today's video and all my past videos, it all comes primarily from Outlier, guys. And the only way you can go ahead and check it all out, because I'm only giving you guys a little bit of what Outlier provides, is to go ahead and try it out for yourself. Again, link down below in the description. Your first 7 days are free. I promise you guys you're going to fall in love with Outlier, and it will truly make you a better sports bettor. Shout out to Outlier for sponsoring today's video and all of our player prop videos here on the channel. And shout out to Outlier for uploading the 2025 data, because since then, we have not lost a bet since they've updated the numbers for this year. So, listen, little correlation there. All right, so 5-leg parlay. We, of course, are using alternate lines, and we're using DraftKings for today's parlay. The first leg of our 5-leg parlay, we're looking at the Diamondbacks-Cubs game, 2:20 p.m. first pitch. We got Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I botched that so bad. And I'm ethnic. I'm Greek. You would think, I don't know if ethnic was offensive to say. I am talking about myself, though. I'm Greek. Like, I speak a little bit of Greek. Like, I'm not fluent, but as close to fluent as you can be without being fluent. I should be able to pronounce these names, but unfortunately, I can't. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., I botched that 100%. Under 1.5 hits, minus 225 over on DraftKings. Again, we're using alternate lines for all of these. And of course, these being alternate lines, the data across the board is going to be pretty solid. Each of his last 10 games, he's cashed this under, averaging just 0.3 hits per game over the last 10 games. So far this year, an 89% hit rate on this under. 16 out of 18 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 0.56 hits per game this year. Again, we're not taking the under 1 hit. We're taking under 2 hits, basically. He can have a hit and we still cash. You just can't have a multi-hit game. He's only had 2 multi-hit games this year. And honestly, the majority of the time this year, he hasn't even gotten a single hit, which is why I feel pretty confident about this bet. The fact that he's not even getting hits, let alone 2 hits. It definitely brings some confidence here. In terms of the head-to-head matchup here against Chicago, pretty good data. 7 of his last 10 games against the Cubs, he's cashed the under. That's, of course, a 70% hit rate, averaging 0.7 hits per game. Now, he's played them 4 times this year, a 50% hit rate. Now, and again, it should be noted, both of his multi-hit games this year have come against Chicago, March 28th and March 30th, the only 2 games this year where he's had 2 hits. But he did cash the under in 2 of those 4 against the Cubs. So yes, he has a couple multi-hit games against them, but he also has 2 games with 0 hits against them. Overall, I think the data is pretty solid here. Looking down below at the matchup stats, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has failed to exceed 1.5 hits in 14 straight games, averaging just 0.4 hits per game over that 14-game span. Look at the key matchup stats down below. Gurriel versus Colin Rea, 5 plate appearances since 2018, just 1 hit off of him, so not a lot to go off of there. A little small sample size, but only 1 hit in 5 plate appearances. Gurriel this year, 145 batting average overall. Versus right-handed pitchers, you do see some increases in some of his numbers. His batting average, slight increase. His BABIP, a slight increase there. His WRC+. We do see a decrease in his hard hitting percentage. Now, Colin Rea, again, with the pitchers props, guys, so far in 2025, we're going to have smaller sample sizes. I talked about it a lot in yesterday's video. I'm going to continue talking about it a lot in future videos. Again, not the best matchup of all time, but 250 batting average allowed versus right-handed batters. Only 20 batters faced, but not terrible. 312 BABIP, 169. Pause for applause, ERA. Like, it's not bad numbers. It's just not a ton to go off of. He's only faced 36 batters total this year, 20 versus right-handed batters. The numbers are okay. Pretty solid overall. All right, guys, our second leg of our 5-leg parlay comes from the Marlins-Phillies game, 6:45 p.m. first pitch. This is a name I can definitely pronounce. Bryce Harper of the Philadelphia Phillies over half a hit or 1+ hit, minus 235 over on DraftKings. Again, some of these legs are available on other sportsbooks. DraftKings is the only one where all 5 are available. FanDuel has 3. BetMGM has 4, Caesars has 4, Sleeper has 3. So you can still follow along somewhat if you have other sports books. Just maybe 1 or 2 of them will not be available to you. But again, we are primarily using DraftKings here where all 5 are available. 7 of his last 10 games, Bryce Harper has cashed the over, averaging 0.8 hits per game over his last 10 games. So pretty good numbers there for Bryce Harper. So far this year, a 74% hit rate on the over, 14 out of 19 games. He's cashed the over, averaging 0.95 hits per game so far this season. So like I said, pretty solid numbers across the board here for Bryce Harper. Of course, it's an alternate line, so it's going to be pretty solid, or at least I should say it should be solid being an alternate line. The head-to-head data, pretty good sample size and pretty good data here. 8 of his last 10 matchups against the Miami Marlins, he's cashed the over. That is an 80% hit rate, averaging 1.3 hits per game across his last 10 matchups with Miami. All 10 of these matchups are coming from last season. This is the first time he's playing Miami this year. But using last year's data in the head-to-head department, really good numbers there for Bryce Harper. Going down below, the insights provided by Outlier, Bryce Harper has exceeded half a hit in 5 of his last 6 games at home, averaging 1.2 hits per game over his last 6 home games. So pretty good numbers there. Now looking at the key matchup stats down below, Bryce Harper versus Sandy Alcantara. I think I got that one right. Bryce Harper, pretty good data. I mean, 49 plate appearances against him since 2018, so a really nice large sample size here versus Sandy Alcantara. 308 batting average against Sandy, 487 slugging. Pretty good numbers across the board there. Now, Bryce Harper this season having a solid start, not terrible, not great. 261 batting average, 286 BABIP, 143.6 WRC+. Now, versus right-handed pitchers, you do see some minor decreases there, right? His batting average does drop a little bit, 256, 273 BABIP, 138.3 WRC+. Those are all decreases from his overall numbers. I'm not too concerned. First and foremost, this is Bryce Harper. We're dealing with a superstar here. Typically speaking, I give superstars a little bit of credence because obviously I know they can rise above their numbers, even if they aren't the best. I mean, let's face it, 256 batting average is not terrible. It's not great. It's not what you'd expect from Bryce Harper, but it's not terrible. And also you have the fact that he has a really good matchup here versus Sandy Alcantara. Again, 308 batting average in 49 plate appearances. Very large sample size and a lot of success against him. 12 hits and 49 plate appearances. So really good numbers there. And looking at Alcantara so far this year, 182 batting average allowed, which you'd look at that and say that's pretty good. But versus lefties, again, smaller sample size, only 30 batters faced, but 269 batting average allowed, 286 BABIP, a whopping 9.45 ERA. So his numbers significantly increase when facing off with left-handed batters this season. All right, guys, our third leg of our 5-leg parlay. We're looking at the White Sox-Red Sox game, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Andrew Benintendi, or better known as Benny Biceps, over half a hit, minus 200 over on DraftKings. Again, this is another one available on multiple sportsbooks. You could probably tail on sportsbooks other than DraftKings if you want to. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 0.9 hits per game over his last 10 games. So far in 2025, he's only played 10 games, so 70% hit rate, the same numbers as the last 10 are the same as the 2025 numbers. And from a head-to-head perspective, he played Boston 3 times last year, and he's cashed the over in all 3 games last season, averaging 1.67 hits per game. And all 3 of those games were in Fenway. So obviously, Benintendi, former Red Sox player, returning to Fenway Park again today. You got to know that playing in Boston, playing against the Red Sox, there's got to be a little extra motivation for him there. Benny's a player I wish they didn't get rid of, I'll be totally honest. Looking at the numbers so far for Benny Biceps in 2025, again, he's only played 10 games, so the data is a little on the smaller side here. And also looking at Dobbins, the pitcher for the Red Sox, he's also very limited experience, so not a lot to go off of here from a data standpoint. But Benintendi, in the at-bats he has had, pretty solid numbers versus right-handed pitchers in particular. 310 batting average, 318 BABIP, 20.8% hard hitting percentage, and 152.8 WRC plus. Pretty solid numbers across the board. Like I said, unfortunately not a lot of data to go off of on that player prop, but I do think from the numbers we do have, it seems to be a pretty good prop in his return to Fenway Park. Our 4th leg of our 5-leg parlay, we're moving on to the Cardinals-Mets game, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Francisco Lindor of the New York Mets over half a hit. This one is a big juiced alternate line, minus 320 on DraftKings. It is available also on Prize Picks and FanDuel. And the data for minus 320 on DraftKings, I'd hope it'd be pretty good, but it is pretty good. 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 1.4 hits per game over the last 10 games, including coming off a really solid performance last night versus St. Louis with 3 hits and what was a 4-1 win for the Mets. If you go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view for Francisco Lindor, 14 out of 18 games this year, he's cashed the over. That is a 78% hit rate, averaging 1.06 hits, runs, RBIs. Excuse me, not hits, what am I saying? 1.06 hits per game this season. Excuse me, been getting a lot of hits, runs, RBIs props this year, so I got a little mixed up there. But averaging 1.06 hits, not hits, runs, RBIs, just hits per game this season. And actually, if you narrow the data down a little further, he's cashed it in 14 of his last 15 games. The first 3 games of the year, he didn't have a hit. He's now cashed it in 14 of his last 15 games. So a really solid run here for Lindor. And look at the head-to-head data. 4 of his last 7 matchups against the St. Louis Cardinals, he's cashed the over. That's a 57% hit rate, averaging 1 hit per game over the last 7 matchups against St. Louis. He's played them 1 time this year, obviously, like I mentioned last night, where he had 3 hits. So pretty good data across the board here for Lindor. And if those numbers didn't convince you guys, the key matchup stats down below are also very solid. Francisco Lindor versus Miles Mikolas. I'm pretty sure he's Greek. It's got to be. That's a Greek name if I've ever seen one. That's why I can pronounce it properly. Miles Mikolas, 18 plate appearances against Mikolas, 412 batting average. Against him, 7 hits, 529 slugging. Pretty good numbers. In 18 plate appearances, a decent sample size since 2018. So Lindor has had a great amount of success against Miles Mikolas. So far this year, Lindor, 239 batting average. Not the best numbers you'd like to see from a player like Lindor. But versus right-handed pitchers, you do see steady increases in all of his numbers. 267 batting average, 300 BABIP, 107.1 WRC plus. So really good numbers across the board versus right-handed pitchers. Nice steady increases from his overall numbers. But Miles Mikolas gives us an even better matchup here. He's having a little bit of a difficult start to the year. 296 batting average allowed, 9 ERA, 356 BABIP overall. We do go ahead and narrow it down to him versus left-handed batters. It's even worse, surprisingly. 391 batting average allowed, 529 BABIP. His ERA does drop a little bit, but his other numbers significantly increase when facing off with left-handed batters. Again, only 26 batters faced, but using the data we do have from this year, it seems to be a pretty good matchup here for Lindor, who is, of course, a switch hitter, will definitely be batting lefty in this matchup. All right, guys, and our 5th and final leg in today's parlay comes from the Athletics-Brewers game, 8:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Lawrence Butler of, I guess they're just the Athletics, but the Sacramento A's over half a base. Now, this is the least juice line, I think, of the day, minus 170 over on DraftKings. Still an alternate line, still a little too high from an odds standpoint to be a single bet kind of bet, but definitely lower in terms of an odds standpoint compared to the other bets we have in today's parlay. And the data is still pretty solid, even though only minus 170 odds. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under, that being, of course, an 80% hit rate, averaging 2.4 total bases per game over his last 10 games. Again, we only need 1 total base, so a single gets us our cash here. He had 6 total bases last night versus Chicago, so really good performance last night. So far this year, 13 out of 18 games, he's cashed the over. That is a 72% hit rate on the season, averaging 1.78 total bases per game. Only 5 times this year has he failed to get a hit. So really good numbers here for Lawrence Butler. He's cashed it in 4 straight games as well. And from a head-to-head perspective, each of his last 3 matchups with the Milwaukee Brewers, he's cashed the over, averaging 2 total bases per game against Milwaukee. All 3 of those matches, of course, coming from last year, but still pretty good data there. Again, the insights provided by Outlier, Lawrence Butler has exceeded half a base in 9 of his last 11 games, averaging 2.4 total bases per game over his last 11. The key matchup stats down below, really good numbers for Lawrence Butler, 296 batting average, 328 BA, BIP, 155 ISO. All 3 of those statistical categories increase when he faces off with right-handed pitchers like Freddie Peralta, 316 batting average, 348 BA, BIP, and 175 ISO when facing off with right-handed pitchers, again, like Freddie Peralta in this matchup. Peralta this year, pretty solid season, 231 ERA, 159 batting average allowed, 317 slugging, although pretty high in the extra base hit percentage category on nearly 54%. Versus left-handed batters, his numbers do all increase minus extra base hit percentage, which actually decreases a good amount. Not too concerned about that, though. All we need is a single here. And also 40% is still pretty high. But 238 ERA, 233 batting average allowed, 372 slugging. Those increases in the numbers really are solid for us. Still pretty good numbers for Freddie Peralta. I mean, 233 batting average allowed is not too bad. But I still think it's a pretty good matchup for Lawrence Butler, who's been hot to start the year. So those are all 5 legs in today's parlay, guys. Quick little run through here to recap what we got. We got Lawrence Butler of the Athletics over half a base. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. of the Arizona Diamondbacks under 1.5 hits. Andrew Benintendi of the Chicago White Sox over half a hit. Bryce Harper of the Philadelphia Phillies over half a hit. And Francisco Lindor of the New York Mets over half a hit. You parlay all 5 together over on DraftKings, get a parlay of plus 536 odds. So really strong value here for Lindor on this player. Lindor for the entire parlay. Just started going back to the gym, guys, and I'm a little lightheaded after today's workout, so apologies for that. By the way, if you do want to go ahead and tail and you don't have DraftKings, you don't like to use DraftKings, again, Caesars 4 out of 5 legs are available for plus 367. BetMGM 4 out of 5 available for plus 391. FanDuel 3 out of 5 are available for plus 180. So a couple of the legs are available. So there are other ways to tail. Again, the only way to tail all 5 legs, the exact parlay like presented in today's video, is to use DraftKings. Again, plus 536 odds over on DraftKings. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. Again, it helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. I said at the beginning of the year I wasn't going to do videos on Saturdays, but this is the 2nd or 3rd week in a row where I'm going to do a Saturday video, so I will be back tomorrow. I did miss one video. I want to say it was Tuesday. I missed a video this week, and I don't like missing videos and not making up to you guys, so we will be back tomorrow with another MLB Player Prop video. But again, until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Freaky Friday. Have some freaky fun, and let's go ahead and make some money.